Hi everybody. This is unexpected, right? I've just come off the back of doing one video and uploading it to YouTube, and I found that my inbox was inundated, inbox dated with requests. Oh my god, Rush Limbaugh's died. Please do his transition pictures. There's something a little ghoulish about doing people's transition pictures just after they've died. It's a little exploitative. And I do have quite strict ethics about this, normally. But Rush Limbaugh was, in his public persona anyway, a thoroughly ghastly individual. And so, because he sowed so much discontent in America and undermined democracy, I would say, I don't feel much hesitation to do his pictures, which I've just done. He died aged 70 today, February the 17th, of lung cancer, actually. Now, I did his pictures before, if you recall, and he was going from week to week like this. It was very much a stop-go, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes feeling okay, sometimes not. And then he emerged from that. And then there was a big cavern, which was sunny for a little while, like medication could keep him alive and keep his mood up, and he could keep on working, which he did. But then it got very, very dark, and he disappeared into the darkness. And today he disappeared into the darkness. What's interesting was he was a smoker for many, many years, including that cigar that he always had, which I never quite understood why some men... Is it insecurity? Some men need this big pole of leaves that they burn in front of their face in order to prove that they're somehow superior or dominant or rich. I'm not quite sure why that works, but anyway, he died of lung cancer. And in fact, he did say that people who smoked were no more in danger of getting lung cancer than people who eat carrots. That tells you everything you need to know about Rush Limbaugh, really. But he had a very, very illustrious career, if you can call it that, and affected the lives and the attitudes and the opinions of tens of millions of people. I remember there was an estimate that he was reaching 32 million people a day. I don't think that's necessarily true. That might just have been a sales pitch. But he was very, very influential. And a lot of people's ignorance and their lack of information and their warped view of democracy comes from him and the likes of him. So in many ways, as we begin this new age and go into a period where we start pushing back on the lies and the disinformation, the propaganda, the conspiracy theories, it's probably just as well that this marker of Rush Limbaugh dying happened right now. It's a good omen for the future. So when I went into his pictures, he was just hanging there, but very animatedly. I'm going to have to put my cup down for this. But very animatedly. You know when a fly gets trapped in water, like in your cup, it gets trapped in the meniscus on the top of the liquid, and it flounces around, and it starts fidgeting and splashing around trying to get out of the meniscus, and it can never get out. It was like that. He was adjusting. It was like, what? I'm sorry, what? His consciousness was adjusting. But he quickly calmed down and just hung there. Illness, as you go through the various periods of winding down to the end, is very grounding. It pricks your ego. It brings humility. You realize your mortality. You realize you're not invincible. And I think before he died, he had become very, very familiar with the idea of not being invincible. Doesn't mean that his ego wasn't there, but there was definitely a sense of, oh, this is it for me. Humility crept in. So he resigned himself very, very quickly to what was happening. But then there was another stage. He came to the main stretch of what I see as a tunnel. It's always obviously symbolic. But he came to the next part of the tunnel, and rather than going down it, he peered around, like not nervously, but curiously, as if in his consciousness he was trying to reconcile his expectations and belief. I think he was religious. His expectations and belief with the reality of what was facing him. That a lot of what he believed had no bearing on what actually happened. It was just a script. It was just a narrative that he'd clung on to. After peering down the tunnel, he went, oh, okay, all right, let's see. And he just swam. There's no water, it's just air, but he swam down. And then he came, like they always do, mostly they do, to the membrane. This dome of light that he was being invited, because the current of the transition moves you towards that spot, he was being invited to enter. And there was something very reluctant about it. Apparently he couldn't bring together and make work the idea of what he'd been taught would happen when you die and what actually happened when you die. There was some real cognitive, if you can say that of somebody who's passed, but cognitive dissonance and confusion. And he floated in front of it for a little while, looked at it, and then he goes, I'm not sure what to do. Do I stand on this? And I think he thought that he could just stand on it and be in charge and be the one that people looked up to as somebody who just reigned over his domain, as he did in real life. But that's not what happened. As he stood on it, it felt spongy in a delicious way. And he went into it up to his ankles and then thought, oh, I have no say in this. Oh, that's it then. Oh, I can't go back. Oh, it's all gone. Everything I built up, everything I earned, everything I said, every bit of my reputation that I earned over the years, is gone. And that was it. He just sank slowly, more slowly than other people I've seen, and let it consume him. Once he realized that this was the leveling experience it was, and he was going to be reduced to the cosmic substance that everybody ends up being reduced to, and which we all come from, once he realized that, and that there was no point in trying to be dominant, trying to push back against it, trying to return up the tunnel, he just went, hey-ho. That's it. And he sank very slowly into it and vanished. Now I know that a lot of people wanted to hear, oh, there were flames and he died in the most tragic, horrible circumstances because he did so much damage in real life. I don't think that's how it works. On the spiritual plane, there is no flaming future, no hell, no heaven, no nothing. It's simply an assimilation with all that is. And that's where we go back to. The issues become, do we surrender or do we fight it? That's really all it is. Do we release our ego things and allow ourselves to transcend this dome, this tunnel, this whatever? Do we do that? If we can, it's easy. If we can't, there's more of a struggle. For him, I think it was just a matter of, oh, I get it. All right, okay. Whatever. And finally he went down and there were no flames. There was no punishment. There is no punishment. There's simply all that is, and that's where we go into. All right, that's it. I just thought I'd throw that in as a little bonus material for February the 17th. I think it's always sad when somebody dies, and I have enough compassion for somebody like Rush Limbaugh to respect the fight that he had over the past year to stay alive. And I'm not going to crow about it now that he's gone. But he will be missed by many and not by many more, I think. See you guys. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.